In a nutshell, God is saying, if you take care of my house, I'll take care of yours. Tithing takes faith and trust. God said it, and I believe it. And I don't know about you, but that's enough for me. The last thing the text tells us, and we have to look at in this text, is the power in giving. There is power in giving. There's power in giving. The text suggests that we are by nature takers. We are by nature takers. We're more inclined to take than we are to give. But we know what Acts 10, 20 and 35 tells us, right? We know what Acts 20 and 35 tells us, that it is more blessed to give than it is to receive. We are by nature takers. How does the text say that? Because the text says that we rob God. But it also tells us that there is power in giving. And many of us don't have a giving spirit simply because we are unhappy with where we are in life. The feeling of being disenfranchised renders us discontentment, and when we are unhappy with the cards that life has dealt us, we become inherently stingy. And then when you get a little money, what you do is that spirit of stinginess hasn't left you, so you just hold on to it. Because you have a testimony and no one knows what you had to go through to get what you got. Everybody has a testimony. Your testimony does not change what God says. We can come up with all kinds of reasons not to give. And some of us actually have. We say stuff like, oh, I can't afford to give. But let me tell you, you can afford not to give. And when you say this, it tells me that you really don't understand tithing. Tithing is not optional. You may not tithe, but you sure won't be blessed either. Another excuse is, I don't know what they're doing with the money when I tithe. Show me in the text where God said, tithe and you'll get full control over where the money is spent. The Bible does not say that. Don't let your control issues keep you from being blessed. Just tithe. Even if you don't get a say in where the money is spent, just tithe. Even if you voted one way and the majority decided to do something different, just tithe. Here's another excuse. The only reason we give is so that the pastor can have a big, huge salary, a big house, and a fancy car. Well, let me tell you something. If God wants me to have something, if God wants me to have money, a house, and a car, if God wants me to have all those things, trust me when I say, you can't block me from having whatever God has for me. Isn't that right? Just like what God has for you is for you. You ain't going to stop me from having what God wants for me. If God wants me to have a big house, God is going to make sure I have a big house. If God doesn't want me to have a big house, I won't have a big house. I want what God wants for me, not what you want. And I wish I had some help in here. What God has for me is for me. It's not about you. You can't block what God has. If God has a mansion up in Geist for me, hold on to your money all you want to. You can't stop me from walking through the door. If God has a Mercedes for me, you can't stop me from driving it off the lot. Why, you ask? Because what God has for me is for me. It is for me. The reason I'm so confident in this is because the text tells me that when I give, he'll rebuke the devourers. And he'll do it for my sake. In other words, when you tithe, I won't let the haters block your blessing. Lord have mercy. You know what? When I give, and I give from my heart, and I give from the top, and I give to you first, God, and I make you first and preeminent in my life, God is going to block every hater in my life. That ought to be enough right there to make somebody run up here and give a tithe and an offering. Can I get it with it? Because y'all know y'all got some haters in your life. Every single one of us got some haters in our lives. And if for nothing else, God, I'll give you everything I got to get these haters off my back. God said he would not let the devourers, he would not let them consume, and he would rebuke them for my sake. When I tithe, it doesn't matter what I go through. If I suffer a loss, I'm convinced that God will make sure I get it back. And some of you know that you've suffered some losses in your life. And even when you suffered some losses, didn't God take care of you? Didn't God give it back to you? I tell you, God won't let nobody touch your stuff. When you're faithful to God, God will be faithful for you. Isn't that right? We can't beat God at being faithful. God is more faithful to us than we are to him. I don't care how much you tithe, I don't care how much an offering you should give. All of it belongs to God. He's only asking for 10%. Oh Lord, I wish I had some help in here. The truth of the matter is you can do more with that 90% than you can that 100%. Because when you don't tithe, something will happen and you'll end up spending more than that 10% to get it fixed. When I tithe, it doesn't matter what I go through. When I tithe, it doesn't matter what bill comes in the mail. When I tithe, it doesn't matter what breaks down. When I tithe, it doesn't matter what I need to spend money on. When I tithe, it doesn't matter what my monetary needs are. And you know why it doesn't matter? Because I've lived long enough to know, like David said, I once was young, but now I'm old. And I have never seen the righteous forsaken, nor his seed begging bread. You want to look at your neighbor and look him in the eye and tell him, neighbor, be not dismayed. Whatever betide you, God will take care of you. Anybody here know that God will take care of you? And look at what the text says. I'm glad that he says, I will open up the window and pour you out a blessing that you won't have room to receive. I'm glad that he said, I'll open the window and not the doors. Can I get a witness in here? But he said, I'll open the windows. And that ought to make somebody shout in here today. That ought to be good news today that he said, I'll open the windows and not the door. Because anytime I look at a house, there are more windows than there are doors. Can I get a witness in here? And because God has so many windows in heaven, God is opening up not just one window, but God is opening up a bunch of windows and pouring you out a blessing. And that ought to be a reason to get excited because when you look at a house, most houses have more windows than doors. God wants to bless you so much that he's got to pour it out of his windows instead of his doors. He says, if you give, I'll give it back to you in good measure. Pressed down, shaken together, running over, back in good measure. And some of us right now, the reason why you good today is because you've been faithful to God. And you want to look at somebody and tell them, neighbor, the reason why I look like this is simply because God is giving it back. Can I get a witness in here? Is God giving it back to you today? Has God blessed you in so many ways? Has God made a way for you even when it looked like there was no way? Did God give you what you need when you needed it? And some of you, God has blessed even though you've been disobedient. God has blessed you even when you haven't blessed Him. But I'm thankful to God today that God will deliver. God will make a way. God will make my enemies my footstool. He told me that no weapon formed against me shall prosper. He told me that when the enemy comes in like a flood, I will lift up a standard against them. The Bible tells me that He will make my enemies my footstool. He also told me that the battle is not mine, but the battle belongs to the Lord. Can I get a witness in here? He said, if I hold my peace and let the Lord fight my battle, victory shall be mine. Anybody here need victory in your finances today? You ought to trust God for a miracle here. You ought to trust God to make a way when it looks like there is no way. And I tell you, you got to get your finances straight because the devil has you. And the devil doesn't have you on your job. The devil doesn't have you in your marriage. But the devil has you in your finances. Because the devil believes that black folk don't know how to manage finances. But I tell you what, if you trust God, God will turn your situation around. Somebody ought to trust God today. Somebody ought to leave here better. Somebody ought to leave here and make a vow today. God, I'm going to trust you even in the finances. Lord, when I ask you to heal my body, you heal my body. Lord, when I ask you to put food on my table, you put food on my table. Lord, when I ask you to bring my child back, you brought my child back. But now, Lord, I need a financial blessing. And Lord, the same God who healed my body, the same God who brought my child back, the same God who mended my marriage, is the same God, the same God, the same God who has cattle on 1,000 hills. Can I get a witness in here? God can, and God will do it. And we've got to reverse the curse in our purses. We've got to reverse that curse. It's time out for living defeated lives. It's time out for living beneath what God has intended for us. It's time out for it. You want God to bless you your way, but God says, I have already given you my formula for being blessed. You want a financial blessing, but you want to tip God. Lord have mercy. We go to a restaurant and give more than 10%. And we come here and we complain about 10%. Lord have mercy.